Hey everybody, welcome to Technical. As many of you might know, I've sort of fallen in love with the idea of a low-powered gaming system. Whenever a graphics card doesn't have a 6-pin PCIe connector, I just kind of get a little hard. And so today I was planning on putting together another one and figured I'd film it and show you guys. Even though I think the whole concept of just watching somebody build a computer is fucking boring, people seem to like it. So here we go. Alright folks, let's jump right in with the part list. Number one. Motherboard, CPU, and RAM combo sitting right here. We have an i5-4590, a H81M-P33 motherboard to put it in, and 8 gigabytes of value RAM that I think is clocked at 1600 megahertz, but I can't be too sure. Gonna have to boot it up and see. Paid $26 for the RAM, $13 each. Paid $170 for the CPU under the hood and $50 for the motherboard. The CPU was probably a little high. That's because I bought it a while ago. I actually pulled it out of my TV PC when I upgraded that to a 4790. So this is being reappropriated for today's build. Next up, we'll do the storage options. So we have a 180 gigabyte Intel 520 series SSD that came from my standard stash that I paid $30 for. And we have a 500 gigabyte Western Digital Enterprise drive for secondary storage that I paid some minor amount of money for that I can't really calculate because I bought it as a part of a system, as you saw a couple videos ago. And this is simply being repurposed for this. I suspect that I'll actually be able to make all of my money plus some on the back on the rest of the parts from that build. So I guess we can call this zero, but you know, whatever. And next up we have the graphics card GTX 1050 Ti from Zotac. I think these retail for about $180 before tax and shipping here in Canada. I haven't checked recently. They might have dropped a little bit, but you're not going to do better than like $170 on sale here in Kazakhstan. But I managed to pick this up off a guy for $130 and it was brand new. Now this card competes very favorably with cards like the R9 380, 380X even, so big Tonga, and cards in that same range. The GX 960 is significantly worse than this actually. The 1050 competes with the 960. This is considerably better. Not quite encroaching on RX 470 territory, but somewhere in between. And for $130 is a fantastic value, considering it still has full warranty coverage on it and is virtually new and untouched. Next up, we have the power supply, which once again will be one of my $10 Seasonic 350 watt units. It has no 6-pin PCIe external power connector for the graphics card, which is good because we are not using a graphics card that requires one, and it is exactly the reason I bought a stack of 10 of these all at once for $100. We're entering the age where an external PCIe power connector is not required to run, I wouldn't say high-end graphics, but moderate mid-range graphics. And this power supply and power supplies just like it just might become a little bit more prominent in the future as that trend continues. But enough of my soapboxing and on to the final component, at least as far as I can tell, as long as I didn't miss something here, is an Amazon find, as always. Maybe like that. I mean, it's gigantic in terms of the camera's scope here. So you guys recognize this case. It's the SRM01 from Rosewell. Got it for 22 solid dollars. So for those of you playing along at home, that makes this build in total a $438 build, I believe. Canadian funds. That's tax, ship, everything included. For those of you playing at home that are American, that would be about 300 of your dollars, maybe just a little bit less, 290, 280 for all of this. Not the best I've ever done, of course, but given that these are generally newer generation parts and should therefore last a little bit longer once it gets into my client's hands, I'd say it's pretty good value overall. Now I'm going to cut the bullshit and start to actually put this thing together. I expect it to be the fastest computer I ever put together. And boy was I ever fucking wrong. So instead of letting you see the footage that I recorded, which ended up being well over an hour long, which is atrocious and terrible and embarrassing for a guy like me who's been doing it for so long, I'm just going to do a voiceover instead, over top of all this sped up footage so you can see the horror that was making this build. Mainly it's because I'm super meticulous when I put together computers. Like I spent a good 20 minutes trying to figure out the drive slat configuration. Like, should they be backwards? Should they be forwards? I don't fucking know. Also, I failed to remember how fucking hard it was to build in tiny cases. I don't know why I forget. My hands never forgive me. They feel cramped afterwards, and I usually cut myself at least once or twice. There's just a distinct difference between building in an ATX case and one of these these super miniature micro ATX cases that leave absolutely no room for cable management, nothing like that. So it's a genuine challenge to get it looking nice and neat, and it needs to be, because if I'm going to pass this on to somebody for purchase, I want to be able to open up and show them, it's like, look at my handiwork. This is why you're buying it off of me and not doing it yourself, kind of thing, to try to justify the money they're spending, which, albeit, isn't a hell of a lot more than what the parts actually cost, but nonetheless, you know. As for benchmarks, I mean, usually this would be where you put them into a video like this, but I don't actually have any games outside of maybe The Witcher 3 that you could even justify putting in a benchmarking suite these days. But what I can do is give you a general pass or fail for all the shit I did try to do on this thing, and how I tried to do it, and what level of success I had. So here we go! Witcher 3 on medium to high settings, pass. Shadow of Mordor on very high, pass. Kingdom of New Lands, pass. 60 frames per second porn by Xart, pass. Bioshock Infinite maxed out, pass. Season, pass. Kidney Stones when I was 11, pass. Passmark, pass. Go, do not pass. Toronto Underground Mall Network, path. Batman from the 1960s punches Joker in the dick, path. Biggest fish in the lake, bass. Hottest actress of all time, pass. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13, which is inexplicably locked at 30 FPS for some fucking reason, pass. My sister, smash. I mean, pass. Pass. Okay, and for those of you who want some real benchmarks, this is me sitting on my couch running Unison Valley. I had Prime 95 running along with it, believe it or not, just to give it a power stress, and everything was fine. No problems there, but this is with just Valley running Ultra at 8x anti-aliasing. So this is pretty much like maxed the fuck out, and we're getting between 35 and 60 frames per second depending on the scene, which is absolutely fantastic. Graphics card is at a stable 1923 megahertz boost, which is of course way above the advertised clock speed for this graphics card, and temperatures are not exceeding 54 degrees, and it's been running for about 10 minutes now, so gives you a good idea of just how powerful and cool this little graphics card, this little fucking tiny ass GP107 GPU is. It's just super impressive. I'm amazed that this little piece of shit here in 2017 can give you something that looks like this on your television screen. There you have it, folks. Another build in the bank for $438. You too can put together something similar. And some other interesting stats just for the record here. My maximum recorded power draw from the wall for this system under full loads, we're talking CPU to the max, including the floating point unit, the cache, and the GPU, never exceeded 195 watts, which is fucking incredible. As for whether or not the 1050 Ti here in 2017 provides a satisfying gaming experience, I just can't see why anyone would think otherwise. So I think what impresses me most about this card, by the way, is how it compares to other cards in its price class from days past. So the 750 Ti and I guess the 650 Ti might be in that similar sort of category, although maybe not, because even that required a 6-pin. All of these low-powered cards that could be powered straight from the board all sort of fit into that same category of like, I have a pre-built and I need to upgrade, and this is my only option. Seems that the 1050 Ti has finally brought us into the age where that sort of graphics card isn't just a get-you-by kind of card. It's actually considerable for the mainstream. I'm not saying that this is the be-all and end-all mainstream card, but if you're one of those people out of maybe 10 or so that has, you know, an Asus pre-built, an Acer pre-built, and you open it up and you see like a light-on power supply or something made by Delta or something made by Seasonic like I've got here, and it's of a reputable manufacturing quality, the components inside are all to spec, you get more than just a satisfactory gaming PC like the 750 Ti or the 6-pinless 950 before would have provided you. Now you're batting, you know, in at least AAA, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, guys, I think we're gonna call that one a video. Look for me to do some streaming sometime soon, I think. Been playing a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13, as you might imagine, and I've had some people asking me about it, so I might put it on display. Compared to the games I usually play, I am a fucking grand master of RTK games. I've been playing ever since 1989, when the fucking first one was released on the NES, and all of the ones that have been available in English on either the Nintendo and Super Nintendo platforms or on the PC platforms, I have mastered to fuck, and I can write a goddamn book on how to play each one of them in the most efficient and effective manner. So you'll want to tune in for that if you're a big fan of like grand strategy games. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter at OFA. You know the usual business. Hit me up on social media. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and maybe I'll put them in a Q&A video coming out sometime soon. Thanks again for watching. Peace out.